In the headlines, suspected killers of Hanifa Abubakar arraigned before Kano State High Court. 104 ISWAP fighters lay down their arms, surrender to military in Borno. Muslim women in Edo call for respect for hijab. And on the foreign scene, thousands of Sudanese demonstrators take to the streets to call for civilian rule and justice for protesters killed since last year's coup. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Darshan Hosseina Usman. Now the news in detail. Killer of Hanifa Abubakar, Abdulmalik Tanko, and his accomplices have been arraigned before a Kano State High Court. The court adjourned the hearing into the killing of 5-year-old Hanifa to February 14th in order to allow the suspects have legal representation. Presiding Judge Justice Usman Naabba ruled that the case cannot continue without legal representation for the accused. Meanwhile, the State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Lawal Musa, says a legal aid will be provided to Abdulmalik Tanko and his co-accused standing trial over the kidnap and killing of the 5-year-old school pupil.
Already prepared a charge against Abdulmalik and the other two defendants. Today, we're supposed to apply for the charge to be read to them, but unfortunately, they did not have legal representation. This is a very serious offense, a capital offense, which of course the Constitution says that you cannot try a person without legal representation. You heard the court ask them and they said they have no legal representation and that they wanted the state to provide one for them. We are only getting the information now, but we have undertaken to the court that we are going to provide one for them, and we ask for next Monday, that is 14th of February, by 2 p.m. So before then, the state will ensure that they have legal representation, and so that the case can go on smoothly. But I'd like to assure you that as far as the Ministry of Justice is concerned, we are fully ready for this case. We are ready to present our witnesses immediately once the charge is read to their understanding and their plea taken.
104 fighters of the Islamic State of West African Province and their family members have surrendered to the 25 Task Force Brigade of the Nigerian Army in Damboa, Borno State. Reports say among those who surrendered were children and women. According to reports, deadly assaults on terrorists by the military have forced the family members of the fighters out of hiding. People in Doma village of Faskari local government area of Katsina State continue to live in fear and uncertainty following bandits' attacks that claimed lives of residents. Abdullahi Yamadi has an update of the latest happenings in the area.
The update says 11 people were reportedly killed and 12 others hospitalized in Domabi village of Faskari local government area of Katsina State by bandits. The incidents occurred Sunday night, and they are still counting dead bodies in the village. The 12 hospitalized are currently receiving medical attention at Funtua General Hospital, and the bandits were said to have arrived the village around 5:30 Sunday evening and mobilized to the village around 7 p.m. According to a resident of the village, Alaji Samaila Isanguna, the bandits arrived at Domabi on 53 motorcycles with three persons on each, that is three in one, and started shooting to scare the villagers. Though they were said to be carrying sophisticated weapons, the villagers resisted and prevented the bandits from abducting anybody from the village and wrestling any of their animals. When the incident was reported to the military who camped in Rongodia, just a stone throw from the village, they show no response up to the time of compiling this report, because we have been talking with the villagers right now. And the villagers, however, succeeded in killing some of the bandits too. during the gun duel. But the bandits successfully evacuated the dead ones among them. And according to some confirmed reports, the communities are currently seeing some of the bandits around Kucheri village area mobilizing themselves to launch another attack. It is not precisely whether on Domabi or any other village, but they are mobilizing themselves around Kucheri area. And they have said they have been reporting to various security operatives operating within those areas. In a related development, 2 persons have been killed by suspected bandits, Ibrahim Jila and Bala Kanji in Kanji village of Bugaji Ward, GBA local government area. Similarly, at Yadokori, one Badamachi Yellow was killed and several others displaced, with unspecified number of animals rustled. This incident occurred Saturday night, and another attack was also reported on Saturday night on Kalari village of Badari local government area, where suspected bandits killed 3, abducted 8, and rustled unspecified number of animals. When contacted, the police public relations officer, Kasima State Command, confirmed the incident and said concerted efforts are being made to track down the hoodlums.
A federal high court in Ibadan on Monday sentenced the man Ibrahim Idowu to 18 months imprisonment for trafficking 4 kilograms of cannabis. Delivering the judgment, Justice Uche Agomo held that she convicted and sentenced Idowu based on the evidence before her, as well as his plea of guilt. Agomo added that she considered the provisions of Section 270 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, which stipulates that anyone who pleads guilty to an offense must be given a reduced sentence. However, to serve as deterrent to others, Idowu is sentenced to 1.5 years in prison. Men Against Rape Foundation lauds the decision of management of Darwin College to resign their positions as founder and members of the management board of the college in the wake of controversies surrounding the death of its student, 12-year-old Sylvester Oromoni. Speaking at a press conference in Abuja, Executive Director of the Anti-Rape Foundation, committed to curtailing all forms of sexual and gender-based violence across Nigeria, Lemi Ugegbe, says the resignation of the founder and board members was a mark of honor. The report.
So many people that we observed in various portals, including social media, were saying, how does this bring Sylvester back? But for those of us who have been in the business of working towards eliminating all forms of sexual and gender-based violence, it is significant to us. You would recall that since Sylvester's ordeal broke out with all the videos that trended on social media, Nigerians had been very outraged by it, and have been calling for justice for Sylvester. We are committed to insisting that there must be justice for Sylvester.
Uwekwe advised that other schools enmeshed in alleged cases of sexual molestation of their students should emulate the example by Darwin College instead of grandstanding and embarking on propaganda simply in a bid to preserve their business interest.
And because of that, they announced that they are resigning in order to rejig the administrative architecture and do better in the interest of the Nigerian child. That is a mark of honor, and we want to commend them for it, and urge other schools, particularly those who are still undergoing investigations over incidents of sexual abuses and molestation, over incidents of criminal negligence or negligence as you may call it, and they are currently being investigated, that they should emulate that step taken by Darwin. Because more often than not, most of these schools, because of business interests, continually deny any wrong without doing a real self-examination. in order to check where are we going wrong, what are we doing right, let's improve on the right, let's correct the wrong. This is our interest because the Nigerian child is increasingly endangered.
Standards Organization of Nigeria says it conducted about 70 surveillances in 2021 aimed at tracking substandard and expired goods in Gombe State. The SON coordinator in Gombe noted that about 50 varieties of unwholesome products were impounded. This is coming amidst concern that fake drinks are in circulation in the state. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
Packaged foods and drugs are in circulation in billions, but some get expired in shopping stores, which medical experts say could be very harmful. These are expired products seized by the Standards Organization of Nigeria SON in Gombe. Without the seizure, these expired products, which may be poisonous, would have been consumed by people out of ignorance. We ask, how often do people check expiry date of a product before consumption?
For example, let's say this pig milk can. So immediately when you bought it, you have to check the level of it. That is dates, date of manufacture and date of expiring. So immediately when you see the date, when it expired, you know. When it's not expired, and you know.
For me, I was once like that back then in school, not until one of my classmates, whose mother happened to be a medical personnel, we went to buy something with her. And that day she was like, class rep, you need to check, because back then I was the class rep. So she was like, class rep, you need to check this thing. Why are you just buying things like that? I said, okay. Is there any reason? She said, yes, because once you take an expired thing, it affects your organ. You might not see it. It might not happen immediately, but with time, the effect will show up. So for me, I advise everyone that is buying anything that has expiration date should please check before buying. And in case you see that it has expired, you have every right to return it back to whosoever you're buying it from.
To help cut the supply of substandard or expired products, the Standards Organization of Nigeria SON Gombe office is on its feet.
And normally when we go for market surveillance, not only do we look for products that are expired, we look for products that do not have a contact address. So traceability becomes difficult in case of situations where there's need to know where the manufacturers are. So what we do is we go into the market, we look at products, we see their date of manufacture, locational address, that's physical address that we could see, and then anything that could lead to traceability. But what is really of great concern is the level at which products that are expired are in the market. I think the problem we have majorly is the issue of illiteracy, but we see carelessness on the side of customers and even the dealers themselves with such products. The issue of expired products in Gombe is really quite worrisome. It's one of the things that really bothers us here as an organization that is given the responsibility of enforcing standards. Last year alone, for the year 2021, we were able to carry out about 70 surveillance on products, and we noticed we were able to make about 50 seizures of expired products alone. That is products that have expired.
To be on the safer side, people are expected to heed to the advice of medical experts, check expiry date of a drug or packaged food before consumption, and for shop owners to remove expired products from their stores. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break, Nasarawa River that drowns visitors only. Do stay with us.
The idea was to give the interim government confidence that there is somebody, a military man, who is well known, who can be accepted.
You alluded to the case of your son, Umar Farouk. Are you in touch with him?
Yes,
He phones us 2 times, sometimes 3 times in a month.
As always, when I'm talking about late Abiola, I still thank my God for directing me on things to do when he gave me that leadership of this country.
Many of you honest Fulanis, you allow this man to cast aspersion on you.
You know, Zamfara is the mother of all bandits.
The biggest problem, if you permit me, is the fact that we have not been able to get the totality of our citizenry.
It's very, very difficult to have a fixed mind like that this one you will hand over to this person because you think he will do better.
I don't see myself under no circumstance ever leaving APC for another political party.
Here on the Mambila Plateau. And this is where the hydroelectric power dam is supposed to be constructed.
Most people in Nigeria are ignorant of the fact that employing a child as a maid is in fact against the law.
Access to the textile mill has been very difficult.
I believe, or I think that if you want to make money, it should be in a place where there are not plenty of people that can do what you do.
From the way things are happening now, I don't think the two parties will make any impact.
I've been talking about the updates concerning the campaign of Nigerian Super Eagles in Abuja.
Bola Tinubu has informed President Muhammadu Buhari of his ambition to contest for the position of president.
To be self-reliant, a blind man defies all odds to become a carpenter in Gombe State.
The country is now experiencing a 4th wave of the COVID-19 pandemic with the emergence of the Omicron variant.
Talks are ongoing between NRC management and the union.
Welcome back. You're still watching Trust News Updates. Let's take a look at some of our top stories. You heard that killer of Hanifa Abubakar, Abdul Malik Tanko, and his accomplices have been arraigned before Kano State High Court. And 104 fighters of the Islamic States of West African Province and their family members have surrendered to the 25th Task Force Brigade of the Nigerian Army in Damboa, Borno State. Some more news and moving to health. Nigeria Center for Disease Control has reported 36 COVID-19 infections across 4 states and the Federal Capital Territory. The agency, in its update for Sunday, 6th February, which says there were no fatalities, however, reported a corrected computational error of confirmed and discharged cases that occurred last week. Nigeria now has a total of 253,727 confirmed cases, 230,045 recoveries, and 3,139 deaths. Still on health, at least 40 persons died of Lassa fever within the first 4 weeks of 2022 in 43 local government areas across 14 states of the country, out of a total of 211 persons that were confirmed infected within the period. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control stated this in its latest Lassa fever situation report, noting that there were 981 suspected cases against 507 cases recorded within the same period in 2021. According to the agency, 229 suspected cases were recorded in January, 42 were confirmed, while 6 fatalities occurred. The statement showed that the number of new confirmed cases decreased from 74 in week 3 to 42 cases in week 4, with most of those affected ranging from the age of 21 to 30 years. Uke River in Karu local government area of Nasarawa State provides water for inhabitants in that area. But behind the benevolent resource is a mystery only residents know. Unfortunately, visitors who have no prior knowledge die in this river, thought to take away at least 3 persons in a year. Zainab Bala speaks to some residents she found at the river.
I'm right here in OK Village, and this is OK River. Now, according to stories that I've heard, this river does not drown residents, only visitors. And just yesterday, a young man drowned right here inside this river. Children having a field day, swimming.
After a bath, they come out in the sand to cool off. Others dip their net in the water to have a catch. Here, a set of fingerlings. This is the manifestation you see at Uke River, Nasarawa State, about 29 kilometers southeast of Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I came here and met this river. People come to wash here. We enjoy washing our clothes here. I am from Kefi. We have taps, but we prefer to wash here. This river drowns people, but only visitors. There are crocodiles and other water aquatic animals. A mermaid also lives in the water. We come here to wash and have a bath. 3 people have drowned here this year. Another drowned yesterday. He was put out of the water. Residents reached out in search of his relatives, but there was no one. His body was deposited at a mortuary. This river does not drown residents, only visitors. Residents of Uke, where the river got its name, say at least 3 persons drown in a year. But what is worrisome is the fact that they are never the victims, only visitors, and the mystery is yet to be resolved.
We came to swim here. We dived into the water. We noticed a hard surface inside the water. It felt like a human being. We were terrified, so we rushed out.
River Uke is also called Kogi River. The river passes through the ancient town and divides the community into Upper Uke and Lower Uke. Shallow during dry season, the river with a wide rocky course is filled to the brim at the peak of rainy season. The depths in this river are always puzzling, said to occur even when it is shallow or almost dry. To recover the bodies, a priest must appeal to the water goddesses to seek permission. Once performed, he dives into the water to retrieve the corpse. He is called Sarkionrua. Zainab Bala, Trust TV News, Uke.
Senior Secondary Education Commission has reiterated its commitment in repositioning the senior secondary education in the country to meet societal needs with the promotion of mathematics, science and trade subjects, among others. The Executive Secretary of the Commission, Benjamin Abakpa, stated this during a working visit to the management of the National Mathematical Center. Abakpa noted that the Commission is putting measures in place to adequately retrain senior secondary school teachers to enable them undertake the task of equipping their students with the adequate skills for nation building. He, however, called for synergy among stakeholders and charged the National Mathematics Center to brace up to the challenge of laying the right foundation for teaching mathematics in senior secondary schools and ensuring that teachers of mathematics are adequately reskilled. Muslim women in Edo State marked 2022 World Hijab Day with a call for respect to the right of women to wear hijab. Nafisa Bello reports that 3 women organizations in the state collaborated to speak with one voice on the Muslim woman's head covering, which has continued to generate controversies. Her report.
The annual event, which was put together by the Edo State chapter of the Federation of Muslim Women's Association in Nigeria, FOMWA, in collaboration with Al-Muminat, the Believing Women, and the Muslim Student Society of Nigeria, MSS, had in attendance women from all walks of life, as well as female students drawn from various schools. In her address, the Edo State FOMWA Amira Hajarabi Abiri appealed to relevant stakeholders on the issues bordering on the Muslim woman's coverage, and other women leaders, which include the chairperson at the event, Haja Sidikot Obaze, advised women on the importance of the hijab.
Permit me to use this medium to appeal to all stakeholders to help tackle this problem faced by the Muslim man within Nigeria and indeed the world over. Muslim parents are hereby advised to find good schools that recognize and teach Islamic values, like our very own forward group of schools, to enroll their children at once.
Not believe our governor is not fearing. Our Lord to preach religious tolerance, equality and justice, which further promotes peaceful coexistence, love, mutual understanding and togetherness.
It's not just for us to put on this. It should reflect in our character. We are modest people. As Muslim women and girls, we should demonstrate a lot of modesty in our behavior.
One of the resource persons, a legal practitioner, Barrister Alamin Alao, outlined the legal status of the hijab in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and the students were not left out as they spoke on what they gained from the public lecture which held at the Central Mosque, Benin City, Edo State.
From the legal point of view, you have the Constitution of the Federal of Nigeria, and that is the ground law, in the sense that that law is supreme. Any other law that is inconsistent with the provision of the Constitution, that particular law will be null and void to the extent of its inconsistency.
The men putting on the hijab gives you a prestige already. People have placed you somewhere before. It's not left for you to work on yourself to go higher.
A lot of things, like wearing of the hijab at all times, whether you go out or you're in. I also learned that we should be wearing any hijab, like transparent hijab or shorts, head covers or what have you. We should wear the full hijab.
I learned a lot of things about the importance of hijab, how we should be wearing our hijab, not wearing scarf or head cover.
The theme of the 2022 World Hijab Day is Hijab is our crown, not a crime. Nafisa Bello, Trust TV News, Benin.
We've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Dashan Husseina Usman. Thanks for watching.
From all around the world,
our news is